right. Just kind of having fun. Uh, we got up into the 30s today, so and tomorrow's trash day, so I need to take my trash out and recycles. So I'll show you in a minute why I don't want to open the door because it's blocking the wind, a lot of stuff, and so trapped for 3 days. But I'm lucky, or if you're watching this and you have heat, water, clean water, food, you're lucky. Safety, I should throw that in there. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and just the hierarchy, basic needs of human beings: food, water, uh, housing, safety. And when we say water, we also need clean water, and we need bathrooms, hopefully sewer systems. So it's not just bringing in clean water; it's taking out bad water, including from doing your laundry. So, and you need the energy. I should say energy too. Your housing needs electricity and some type of heat source. And if it's 110 degrees, it needs a cooling source. It's complicated. There's 8 billion people on the planet almost, and that's the way it is. We've been reckless and thoughtless, nonchalant about population, and nonchalant about using resources and abusing the earth as well as abusing each other. I've already told you that terrible, terrible fact that the five richest men in the world increased their wealth by 114% from 2020 to 2024 to like $869 billion. At the same time, 5 billion people on the planet became poorer. People talk about sin and all that. If that's not a sin, there is no sin. The billionaires are having a big party, and most of the people are struggling to survive. And a lot of people voting for Trump believe his lies that he cares about that. But if you look at his record and his life, it's always about what can help him the most, not you, not the community. Tell me what he did for the community his whole life. It was all about him. But people want to believe that they're the chosen ones, or they have the good blood. Or he's saying immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, and a lot of people are into that, and some of the racism inherent in America and maybe in the world is coming out. And that's sad. But also, immigration is a big issue and a problem. It is a problem because we can't even feed and house and clothe and keep safe the people that are already here. And we don't seem to worry too much about that. You seem to worry a lot about the immigrants, but you don't really worry about the poor of America or the struggling of America. But you're hateful toward the immigrants. But you have no love for the workers, the low income, and the poverty individuals and families. So, just hypocritical. And yeah, the lies this guy tells is just, what do you call it? When you can't stop lying and how great you are. Only I can help change this. You generals are dopes and babies and losers. Even though he said his feet hurt, so he couldn't go to Vietnam. Yeah, John McCain, who was heroic, he said, I don't like soldiers that were captured. I don't like POWs. I like soldiers that weren't captured. Who would say that? And as bad as that, who would follow a guy that says that? We're going to take a short tour just to prove what I was saying about my front door. What is that? That's a fleece for $3. I got 3 of those because the floor is freezing when it was 0. I've already showed this off. I'm going to show it off again. My beautiful rugs from Morocco. Wow. It's sort of like a museum or a gallery. So when I go into, I guess that's the bedroom, but I just sleep in here in the living room. It's a 1-bedroom. But I'm solo. I'm riding solo. But you can see, yeah, I got like that rug. It's got a little light on it. I'm going to deal with that. I don't want any light on my Moroccan rugs because they fade. If you go to Marrakesh or anywhere in Morocco, you'll notice some of the rugs that are outside of the souks are pretty, but they're kind of faded because they've been in the sun. So I remember giving a present to a lady, an orange rug. It was cotton. It wasn't wool. I think all of these are wool, but a few I got are cotton. And she put it in a place where the sun shined a lot. Yeah, just bleached it. Ruined it. Maybe I should have been more, say, don't put it in the sun. Don't put it in the sun. But anyway, it was ruined. And, to go all the way to Morocco, to go to Marrakesh, at least that's where I went. There's lots of places that sell rugs in Morocco, but I went to Marrakesh a lot because I was in Ben Gurir, which was an hour away. Took the train maybe once or twice, but mainly the grand taxis with 6 other people in the van. But to get all the way to Morocco from Fayetteville, Arkansas, and then go to Jama El Fana, the beautiful, gigantic public square with the souks all around it, and to find rugs and to buy them, and then come back to where you live, and then to put them on the plane and come back to Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm telling you, man, it's not easy. So I want to take care of all these. I think they're beautiful, and they're good memories of a good time in my life. But I want to take care of them. They're works of art. To me, they're works of art. My girlfriend would get mad at me. They're a rug, you can step on them. I go, no, you're not going to step on. You're not going to step on my rugs. But I see that one over there, and there's some light from the sun on it, and I know, okay, I need to cover that with something, and I will. So as I've said, be who you are. You're so wonderful. You're so beautiful. You're such a gift to the cosmos. You're a gift to this planet, and that's all true. That's all true. Be yourself and enjoy what you enjoy. Don't worry about if you're too skinny or too fat or too poor or too whatever, losing your hair. My students at Springdale High would say, Mr. Trumbo, you need Rogaine. And I'd say, you guys worry a lot about your hair when you're 16. So did I. I said, but when you get older, you worry more about paying rent, paying your bills, buying shoes for your kids. It's different priorities. Right behind me, that's Crow Eagle, I think, Piegan Indian. This is Navajo. It's fallen apart. It's 40 years old. It's fallen apart 20 times. So it looked better when I got it from the Four Corners region, from the Navajo for $7. I felt kind of bad. Side of the road kind of deal. They didn't look very happy. And this leather, this is from the 70s, man. This is just the 70s. And I used to have one around my wrist. This is for my brother's 4-year-old nephew that died of brain cancer. Yeah. My brother died in a car wreck, but this was his nephew. And I saw him when his head was shaved, and he was hanging out with his two brothers. Just, awesome, brave little soul. And, never tell me stuff like God's will. That wasn't God's will for a 4-year-old to get brain cancer. I don't think it was. I think it was chemicals in his brain. Too sad. Too sad to contemplate. But it's good to realize the sadness and miss the people that are gone and appreciate life and those that are here. Anyway, sorry. This is who I am. I need this for the 70s. I need this for the first people of America. And I like a lot of their style of living with nature and loving nature, and much less of a concentrated population, but also much less pollution and more respect for, when they kill the buffalo, maybe say a prayer over it. Just a lot that I admire of the first peoples of the Native Americans. So what was I saying? Be yourself, enjoy. Now we need to create societies where people don't have to work like dogs to get nowhere. These billionaires or even millionaires, that's a self-made man, that's a self-made woman, which is so much bullshit. Because we've worked together for hundreds and hundreds of years to create a society where you can become a part of or be a part of and grow financially. And we're so ignorant, and we've been dulled into being slaves by those that have become filthy rich to believe they deserve billions of dollars, and these people deserve to be in the ghetto or homeless or struggling to pay the rent to a landlord that's a billionaire. This is a sick society, not just ours. You look around the world, it's a sickness, and that is based on greed, avarice, mammon, selfishness. That's our greatest curse that we continue to follow. We follow it. We create it. We perpetrate it. It's up to us to become civilized and human beings with love and care and better citizens with actual responsibilities and duties to each other. Brave and free. What does brave and free mean? Well, I think it means you're brave enough to face the challenges of the world and help each other and help this world. And you're free to follow some of your own dreams, and also freedom of speech and religion and assembly and press. Basic freedoms. Anyway, I was kind of leading up to this. So, sorry. I'll try to go slow so it doesn't. So that's, no, not that. This. I wrote a song this morning, and a lot of times that's how I write the song. I have all these notes, too many notes, too many ideas. But it slowly becomes a song, I hope, sometimes. And I'd recommend this. I kind of like that blue. I like this towel. I've had it for years because of the colors. What was I going to say about writing songs? Uh, oh, good to express yourself, at least for me. I really need to express myself, so I write a lot. And I mean, I've thrown away hundreds of pages of some of the more negative political. I've taught government, so I know how corrupt that we've become, and how government could be a great thing for humanity, but instead is a terrible thing for humanity and rewards the few and hurts the many. So a lot of anger toward that, how bad we are at citizenship, basically. But I expressed myself, wrote it all down, then I throw it away because I don't want that to be, oh, that guy was so negative. I don't want that. So I've thrown so much of that away and will continue to do that. Express myself and then throw it away. But I have to get it out of my system, I guess. But I want the main message that I give out is positive and about how wonderful we are and magical we are, mysterious we are. It's all true. It's all true. But we need to rise up as common people and create a better society and community and economic system and not be so crazy about our own tribe or our own country, our own race, our own religion, me, mine, our little group instead of. I love that about my parents. Uh, Inclusive, not exclusive. My mother, who was such an angel, never said the word God or religion or Jesus or anything like that to me. She was just a wonderful person and caring and giving. That's what I want to be. And I don't really want to get into any of the religious stuff. I don't see the point. She didn't need it. I don't need it. My dad helped integrate the pool and fight for rights of other people. He didn't need religion to do that. I don't either. I know what's right and wrong. Love is right. Hate is wrong. Greed is wrong. Environmental respect and economic respect is right. Poverty and billionaires are wrong. So, anyway, that's my take on the situation. I did want to say one thing. I had my book the other day that I wrote. Who's the teacher now? And the title of that was from, oh, there was so much, what's it called? Education Reform. When was this? 2011. This education reform, which was a lot of it was just bullshit. And Bill Gates was into it, who never liked school. Although now, since he was a billionaire, it's like he could tell us about education. Never been a teacher. Uh, but I remember one of their arguments was having a highly qualified teacher in front of a classroom is more important than having smaller classes. And I wish I had a master's in history when I taught. I had a master's in teaching and a degree in political science, but I could have used, yeah, I think in some countries, especially, well, the Finnish model was very popular for good reason, a good education system in Finland, and you have to have a master's degree in your subject matter in Finland. And I like that idea. Uh, but if you're going to talk about school reform, and I don't think it's changed much since I got out of the profession, which was 9 years ago. Um, yeah, smaller classes. Don't give me 30 kids, which I had many times, 29 kids, 28 kids. If you give me 20, your kid's going to get a better education because it'll be easier to engage with each other. It'll be easier to include them, easier for people to speak out during class. Now, yeah, you do individual work, work in pairs, work in small groups, and then you share out. Sure, you can do all that, and you need to do all that. But just every day you have to, you got to have variety in at least high school. I think junior high and high school, and probably I don't know too much about younger or older students, but I do know for sophomores in particular, which I taught the most, I liked variety. I would plan a lot, and I would have five things. We're going to do this, then this for 5 minutes, and this for 10 minutes, and this for 10 minutes, and this for. I remember talking to a vice principal, and I said, "Yeah, I like to do things for about 10 minutes or less." And she said, "Well, I've read where 7 minutes or less. It's like to keep their attention and yeah, get in, learn, uh, focus, relax, do it again." This idea of coming into class and read and take notes, like if you're a sub, you're supposed to read this and take notes. They do that for 45 minutes. That's a crime. That's a crime. Or if you come in and if you're kind of lazy and turn on a video for 45 minutes, take notes on this, or, it's just bad teaching. To me, it's bad teaching. I never did that stuff. Uh, One thing I liked was when you did four things, the last thing many times is watching part of a video. Okay, good job, relax, sit back. We're going to watch part of John Adams. Paul Giamatti is John Adams, really good, the first 2 hours. And these 16-year-olds liked it because it was well acted and it had some action. What else would we would watch New York, which was by, it was a 10-part series, really good when we would look at the Industrial Revolution or immigration. When we looked at Settlement of the West, we watched a great program called The West. Ken Burns, I think. I think New York was Rick Burns, his brother. It's unbelievable, they're brothers. 500 Nations or 500 Tribes, I forget what it's called, but about the Native Americans. And also John Wayne, the Cowboys. That was a good show because I'm sorry for the girls. There wasn't any strong female parts, but the boys, and one of them, one of the main characters was Hispanic. I had a lot of Hispanics, and they were also. It was young. It was about young people becoming adults and growing up, and so it was good. And again, we wouldn't watch all these things. We just watch parts of it, and usually 5 minutes at the end of class. And I say five because that's what it was. It wasn't seven. It was usually less than that, but entertaining and kind of a thank you to them. My kids were good, and kind of a thank you, like, hey man, we did our learning. Relax, enjoy this for 5 minutes. I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff. I thought I had good in government. The meth crisis. We watched some of the meth crisis. What else did we watch? What's that called? Frontline, PBS, a really good show. Um, anyway, I can't remember all the stuff, but let me see the Industrial Revolution. There's a great program called Pirates of Silicon Valley. It's about Steve Jobs and Wozniak on the West Coast, and Bill Gates and Paul Allen on the East Coast, and it's the beginning of the computer age. And Gates and Steve Jobs are both pretty Machiavellian. They're not the nicest people. They're into it and they're really driven, and you know, it's about their vision and and they can be just cold blooded and mean, both of them. But there's this one. There are a couple of scenes that are amazing. I think it was Jobs at Xerox, and Xerox is showing him and the engineers about the mouse and about the pull down menu. And I remember this one engineer at Xerox, they were watching Steve Jobs walk in with this group, and she's shaking her head saying, "What are we doing? Why are we showing him this stuff?" And so Jobs and Gates and their people took things from other people. You can say, "Oh, they're visionaries, oh, the self-made men." Well, no, 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 no. look at what they took from who, including Paul Allen, Wozniak, the brainiacs, the engineers that helped Jobs and Gates. It's just interesting. We watched parts of that in my classroom. Um, One thing I wanted to mention because I wrote it down is we don't fight for humanity. We don't fight for ourselves. We play it safe. One of the biggest problems in the world is people just, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to say anything that'll upset people. A lot of Republicans today are like, I don't want to talk against Trump because all these people won't like me anymore. Even though I think uh, I think he was convicted of raping a woman, sexual assault. Uh, he's he took national secrets to sell for money, But I don't want to talk about him bad because all these people will hate me because there's so much just hatred, and Trump generates hatred. That's one of his things. Like we're great and they're the devil. You know, he's really done a terrible and effective job at that, I guess. But as teachers, I'll just say this: as teachers at Springdale High School, wonderful people, awesome people, just such a good family. And like I said, this is low income, high minority. Over half the kids got free and reduced lunch. Hell, I thought it was like maybe 70%. I mean, these kids were coming from rough places without the basics that you need. Many of them worked after school. But, hallelujah, the school was a nice home for all of us. Imperfect, but no, I'll go to my grave singing praises of Springdale High and my colleagues and the bus drivers and the janitors and the cooks and the secretaries and the librarians, everybody. Just a wonderful, giving, caring society, but would not fight. Would not fight. I tried to get people, let's meet, just the teachers, let's meet after school and talk about class sizes and how many preps we have and how many planning periods we have, and maybe fully funded pensions. Make sure our pension fund is. Nobody would show up. I remember one time one lady showed up out of 100, and I was mass emailing. Well, they put a stop to that, and that may not surprise you, but yeah, they put a. You couldn't mass email everybody anymore. And some teachers, hey man, I don't want your emails. Okay, all right. But don't go into the teacher's lounge and say, I have 6 classes and only one plan. I have 150 students. I have 3 preps I have to prep: sociology, psychology, Western civilization. That's almost impossible. What I just told you is almost impossible. I was a good teacher partly because I had 2 preps: U.S. history, which I taught probably 4 or 5 classes, and then government, which I taught 1 or 2. So luckily I had 2 preps. And the good thing about government for me, it was a semester class. So whatever I did in the fall, I could use that same stuff in the spring. Hopefully improve it a little bit. But I got it down, after almost 15 years, I had it down. I had it down probably after, or I was not a good teacher for the first few years. You just don't have enough, not just experience, but uh, you don't have enough things to go to. You don't have your tricks, whatever you want to call your tricks. Well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this as a group, and then we do this as in pairs, and we present, and you create this, and we do this in the computer lab, and it takes a few years to pick up all these tricks, some from other teachers, of course, but it takes There are some teachers that are really special. They come in and they are good from the beginning, and they're special. That's why I don't like two teachers teaching by each other. A new teacher making 40,000, and a teacher at 25 years making 65,000. What? What is that? You're teaching the same thing. You're doing the same job, and this person gets 25,000 more than this one. That's not right. Teachers won't face that. Mainly because the older ones are like, I deserve this extra money because I've put in 20 years. And yeah, I just think you're selling out other people. You're selling out the other workers. I was at it's called Harps. It used to be Food for Less, but the people that owned it, the Harps family, sold it and it became a cooperative or employee owned. It's employee owned. And I remember talking to one of the workers. I said, "This is employee owned. That's kind of cool." And he goes, "Well, it's mainly, it helps the people who've been here a while, the older people." He was probably 20. Been a lot of people in the front are doing the show. I mean, they're younger people. The older people, you can kind of pick and choose. Hey, I've been here 15 years. I deserve to do this, or management or something. But this idea that in organizations, for some reason, this guy, let's say in a business or a bank, this guy gets 150,000. This person gets 45. Is that going to make a good community or society? Or what does this person do about their children and their housing and their self-esteem and their quality of life? That's a good word. Quality of life. Everyone needs a quality of life. And we have to bring everybody up to a certain quality of life. Standard of living. I like quality of life even better because you're a magical being on this planet, in the middle of space. You're so special. You deserve an awesome quality of life. Everybody does. And the only way we're going to do that is not let a few people steal everything. And they'd say, we're not stealing it. We're just buying lobbyists and we're starting super PACs to elect the people that will support us and the Supreme Court that supports us and the freedom to, become a individual with $200 billion. That's freedom. You're taking away my freedom. And I would say, well, these people don't even have food and housing and safety. And it's not all about your freedom, it's also about the community. You don't live all by yourself, you live in a community. We the people, we the people, we. It's not me. Me, the person, deserves everything I can get. And to hell with everybody else. Yeah, that's the sick society. That's the sick economy. And yeah, I'll just say it. You people need to be more educated and involved and engaged in economics. And quit acting stupid. Quit acting like you're going to leave it in the hands of other people. Some really, really smart people created the collateralized debt obligations and all these cheap mortgages that crashed in 2008. They were really smart, and everything crashed. And a lot of people, the working people, and toward the bottom, they lost a lot. But the rich people didn't. Maybe they took a hit, but then they said, hey, these houses are cheap now. I can buy these. Let's invest in these houses that all the working people lost. So, yeah, if you're going to play ignorant on economics, you know, it's just going to get worse, just like it has been getting worse. Just like it has been getting worse on concentrated wealth, concentrated income, property, and power. Our greatest sin. think we have two greatest sins. That's one, and what we're doing to the planet is one. I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can measure those. They're both a catastrophe, a spiritual catastrophe, both of them. So anyway, like I said, we got to fight. I love that picture, man. I love that picture. But that is it. I was walking to my classroom at 6:15 in the morning to get ready. But it would have helped me and it would have helped my students if instead of having 150 students, I had 110. Instead of having 6 classes and one plan, I would have had 5 classes and 2 plans. So during the plans, I could grade papers and I could prepare for the next class, or that's why I would work 10-hour days, because planning for me, that was my specialty. I wasn't the best at grading essays and stuff like that. I mean, I was already putting in 10-hour days and 5 on the weekends. So you can say, you should have been better at grading. And I would have said, you're an asshole, because I just told you how much I was working a week. And you don't give a shit about that. So don't tell me about education and education reform unless you talk about how many hours a week a teacher works. And actually, if you want to talk about education reform, let's go into the salaries, or the money that the bus drivers make, and the cooks make, and the janitors make, and the secretaries make. That's part of education, isn't it? Uh, we're much too stratified. For some reason, we want to, we're greedy. We want to be up here. Oh man, if I could only make 100 grand a year, I'm only making 85. I'd really love to make 100 grand a year. Or man, I have $5 million and there was a 20% return in the stock market last year. So I made 200,000 on the $1 million investment. I really wanted to, I want to do even better. Just this fever, greed, avarice, mammon, the love of money, loving money more than what did Jesus say? The greatest commandment: love God and love each other. Well, that's what I'll put this in. Love of God would be loving this holy, sacred, beautiful planet in the middle of lifeless space. And also loving God would be loving human beings. And as he said, love God and love each other. It's pretty simple. I'll end with that because it's simple and true and beautiful. And so are you.